Bernie Sanders sat down with the Washington Post today, did a live stream with Rob Costa. The thing that's really striking a chord is Bernie Sanders, his answer to the Tara Reade question. And some people say he should have responded this way or that way, and what they would have done if they had ran for something and then got elected somewhere and managed to be, from a mayor to a congressperson to a senator, and then did run president a couple times and win multiple states. Like what they would do if they did all those things to be in a position of actually, someone actually asking them what they think about Tara Reade. Not now. They're not counting what they do now because I love the fact that you are an essential worker, and I value that and I respect that. But working at the A&P is not the same thing as being a senator. I know, especially in our corrupt, shitty system that we have, the two-party system, which is really a one-party system, right? So people have been talking about what they would do. Anyway, it just keeps going on, man. Everybody compares their life of working on cars and the time they had to tell the client that they needed a new muffler to this shit. Politics, the most corruptive, probably the most corruptive form of job, system that you could, most cutthroat system. There'll probably be people in, I don't know, the Crips that are like, hey, man, you acting like a politician. We ought to kill you. You all right. You just sell crack and heroin. You all right. But you act like one of these dirty-ass politicians. That's how bad politics is. But these people, they always got opinions. And I'm one of them, too. I have opinions, too. So what can I say? What? I'm just as bad. Here goes a clip of Bernie Sanders responding to the question about what he thinks about the Tara Reade situation and Joe Biden's response to it.
Senator Sanders, a former Senate staffer, Tara Reade, has accused Vice President Biden of sexual assault. What's your view of the vice president's response?
Well, look, we have fought for many, many years to try to create a climate where every woman in this country who believes she was harassed or worse, assaulted, has the freedom to speak up with impunity. And Tara Reade has that absolute right. As you well know, Joe Biden has vigorously denied that charge, and people have got to listen to his statement as well and respect that statement as well. And I think, as Joe has said, and I think what makes common sense is the media has got to do its job as an independent, in an independent way of investigating her claims. And that's about all that I can say.
Should the vice president provide full access to his papers at the University of Delaware and elsewhere?
I'll let Joe answer that himself, but I just think, we need the media has got to do its job. I know Washington Post has looked into it, and New York Times has looked into it. Other media have looked into it, and the American people have to make their decisions.
The media was always looking for more information. That's why I asked the papers question.
I just don't know enough about that. What is what the pluses and minuses are of those records.
Bernie said, when they asked about the Tara Reade situation, he said that they should be investigated, and you take women's statements seriously and you respect women's statements and allow women to make their claims, and we need to investigate that. And you listen to Joe Biden's statements and take his statements seriously and investigate and have an outside entity. In this case, he picked them horrible, New York Times, Washington Post. I don't trust him. But, if we had a really unbiased investigative journalism going on, then he'd be right. But the fact that we don't, that's an issue. But then he goes on to say, what about the University of Delaware documents when Joe Biden was senator? He should turn those over. And he said, well, let Joe answer to what he's going to do with his stuff, and whatever questions you have about what Joe's done, you should ask Joe about it. and media should look into it. I don't know. I just don't feel like it was that bad an answer. I don't feel like it was a bad answer. I think it was something a politician would say. Oh, that's right, Bernie's a politician. God, man, I don't know why I keep forgetting that he is not he's not, I don't know, he's not me. He's not a guy yelling into a mic on the internet. He's a politician. What do you want him to say? He doesn't know if it's true or not. He doesn't know shit. He's just like, I know people assume that they know stuff, but who really knows? I believe Tara Reid, something happened. I don't think she made this all up. That's what I believe. Okay? Maybe Bernie should say that if that's what he believes. I don't know what he believes. But I know that what he said was like 99% better than what I've heard any politician say, which was we should investigate it. Most of the people that caucus with the Democrats or the Democrats are saying much worse, and it's all slanderous towards Tara Reid. So once again, as usual, guys, what we have is, if Bernie don't go as far as people say that they would go, who are risking nothing, who are not in positions of power or influence, who don't have to go into the chamber, who are not trying to pass legislation, who are not hired to do a job that people will vote you up and down for based on your performance. These people who are totally not in politics keep saying that Bernie doesn't go far enough. But then I say, how far should he go? They point to some mythical person. And all I'm saying is, I don't find what he said to be horrific. I find it to be the best that you could say, I guess, if you him. Do I wish he was Tim Black? No, I don't, because then he wouldn't be a senator. Do I wish he was you? No, I don't, because you're doing whatever you do. Okay? So, yeah. I know, guys, here's the problem, guys. This is what we got. People want Martin Luther King Jr. to come back. They want Malcolm X to come back. They want, that's what you want, and that's what I want. I want a figure from the past to come back and be who they were then. It's like I told Ida, we want people that's willing to die for us, die for the cause, die for a reason. Like, we want that. We don't want to do that ourselves, but we would want other people to do it. We want other people to burn up their careers like Cynthia McKinney and move to other countries where they can't even give out their address. That's what we want. That's really what we want. That's what we all want. We're all selfish as hell. At least I admit it. I'm selfish as hell. I want people to put it all on the line, lose everything, lose their positions, lose their careers, even maybe lose their lives. That's what I want. So that I can say they did it. Will it change anything? Probably not. But at least they did it. And that's the attitude that we have. Because we're all fucking entitled. Yeah, we all want somebody else to do what we won't do. Yeah. I mean, now we'll say we'll do it, but shit, we won't really do it. I mean, there are people who were slamming Bernie for this statement, as short as it was, as if he touched Tara. I mean, they were more upset with Bernie Sanders than they're upset with the man who allegedly molested her or raped her. I'm serious. And then there are people who watch this garbage, watch and listen to these people make these rants, and they don't say, maybe this person's making this rant because they're not an honest actor. They never say, hey, maybe this person's doing it for views and clicks. Maybe they're doing that for money. Maybe these people are not as good as people as I think they are. It never crosses the mind. And if it does cross the mind, they chase it out. Hey, man. I think Joe Biden should drop out. I think Joe Biden should quit while he's ahead. I think Joe Biden's a horrible pick. And that has nothing even to do with Tara Reid. I made the No Joe button back when everyone was still in the race. I've had No Joe buttons on my site for 6 months. So I thought Joe Biden was unfit then. This just put extra cherries and sprinkles and chocolate syrup on top. The Tara Reid allegations. he already was a no win. He was already out to me. But hey, what do I know? People voted for him, allegedly. Right? Okay. So now that's not it, because though people, there's other stuff. This was a long interview, about a half an hour. They talked about a number of things. They talked about the coronavirus. They talked about stimulus checks. They talked about what Bernie's movement. And there's one part here I want to share with you. When they talked about Bernie supporters, or the portion of Bernie supporters who don't want to support Biden no matter what Biden does or will do. So let's go to that part of the clip, and then we'll have a conversation about that.
Senator Sanders, a former Senate. In the final few minutes here, let's talk about your movement, your campaign. Many supporters of yours still feel demoralized by your defeat in the primary, and they're skeptical of Vice President Biden. You say you're a strong supporter of him, but many of them remain skeptical.
Well, look,
what's your message to them?
Robert, let me just say this. I mean, I will do everything I can to defeat Donald Trump, all right? Because I think Trump is the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. Joe Biden and I have strong political disagreements. Everybody knows that. We competed against each other for the primary. He got the votes, for a variety of reasons, and I did not, and he has the delegates, and he will, in all likelihood, be the nominee. But I want to say to progressives and working class people all over this country to understand that we have come a very long way in recent years. Ideas that are now kind of mainstream ideas, whether it is healthcare as a human right, whether it is guaranteeing every American a job at a decent wage or raising that minimum wage to $15 an hour, whether it's making public colleges and universities tuition-free or forgiving student debt, whether it is understanding what a major existential threat climate change is to our planet. We have helped advance that agenda. And at the end of the day, what's most important is changing political consciousness. Because when the American people at the grassroots level want something, politicians will follow. So you got somebody like a Joe Biden right now who does not hold my views. Joe believes in a $15 an hour minimum wage now. Joe believes in creating millions of jobs, rebuilding the infrastructure. Joe believes in making it much easier for workers to join unions. I think you're going to see him coming out fairly strongly with some progressive ideas on climate change, et cetera, et cetera. So we have come a long way. And second of all, what we should be very proud of is that the young people of this country, and by that, I'm not just talking about 20-year-olds. I'm talking about people 45, 50, or under. By and large, their views are consistent with what we have been fighting for. Now, during the campaign, for whatever reason, I did not do well with older people. That's just a fact. But even in those states where we lost, we did really well with young people. So I think the future is with our ideas about a more just society, about not having the income and wealth inequality we have, that healthcare and education and housing and retirement security are human rights. We need a more vibrant democracy, that we have to stand up for the dispossessed, for the undocumented, and for the minorities. So, Robert, yeah, I lost. I'm disappointed. Millions of people are disappointed. But I want people to know that because of that grassroots activism, the knocking millions of doors we knocked on, and God knows how many phone calls our people made, we are changing America in a very fundamental way, and we have got to continue going. What I said when I suspended my campaign, suspend the campaign, but we certainly do not suspend the movement. That grassroots movement must continue, it will continue, and we will transform this country.
Senator, you said you've come a long way, and I was covering that in 2016, and you said you struggled with older voters. You also struggled with African-American voters. Here's a question I've always wanted to ask you. Do you believe older voters and African-American voters in particular were rejecting your ideas, or were they rejecting, in your view, your argument about your own electability?
I don't know the answer to that. I think one of the things that our opponents, and as you know, Robert, many millions of dollars in super PAC money was spent against us. One of the arguments against us is that Bernie can't defeat Trump, which I think was a false argument, to be honest with you. But I think older people, the word democratic socialism, I think makes some of them a little bit nervous. In terms of the African American community, the fact is that among younger African Americans, we did very well. We did very well. Among Latinos, we did very, very well. So I think, we can, argue about why and, why
what
certain
does the left in this what does the left in this nation need to do to build a better coalition with older African American voters?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I think on the issues, I found something very interesting. My memory is correct, Robert. There was an exit poll in Mississippi, and I did very badly in Mississippi. And you know what the exit poll showed? A majority of the people in the very conservative state of Mississippi support Medicare for all, and for good reason, because their healthcare system is a disaster. So I think what we have got to do is connect candidates, and it's not just candidates running for president. I will be actively supporting a number of candidates running for Congress, running for state legislature all across this country. And what we have to do is connect our views, our ideology about a government that works for all, not just the few, with good, articulate candidates.
Final thing here, Senator. Do you want to run for president again?
I think the likelihood is very, very slim at that. I think next time around, you're going to see another candidate carrying the progressive banner.
Very slim. So there is a chance you could run in 24.
Oh, Rob, let's go.
Hey, you didn't fully close the door, Senator. Right?
All right, let's not be a media person worrying about what's going to happen 4 years from now. I think it's very, very unlikely that I will be running for president ever again. And I think right now, what the focus, I would say, not only of progressives, not only of Democrats, but a lot independents, moderate Republicans, has got to be how we come together to defeat this very dangerous president who is in office right now.
Bernie started off by saying how skeptical, Costa started off by talking about how Bernie Sanders supporters were skeptical of Biden. Talk about an understatement. Skeptical. That means they're just like, kind of side eye. Now, we had some people there who are vehemently opposed to Biden. Looking at Biden like he's a walking coronavirus. Nobody wants to catch him. Look, so Bernie, what do you want Bernie to say? Bernie's like, look, all right, so I'm not going to just tell people to go vote for him because we're really different. Like, the shit he stands for, what I stand for. He started doing a little bit of politicking. Like, look, guys, Biden and I are not alike, and Trump's very dangerous. And I guess he figured that's not going to work. So let me go home. Let me push this out, and let's see if people understand this. I get what Bernie's saying about we're now talking about things we wouldn't have normally talked about without the movement being in place. People say, oh, Bernie's a sheepdog, and he just led all the people to slaughter. Yeah. Who was this amazing progressive who had been, in a position where they could run, who was going to run instead of Bernie? I mean, who was this person who was going to push $15 minimum wage? I mean, I know he's not the only person that believes in it, but who was out there besides him who was really at the forefront of this? And same thing with climate change, Green New Deal. Who are these people? So this movement that we've all been a part of, well, a lot of us, not all of us, has really forced a conversation. Medicare for all, that conversation didn't just happen naturally. It happened because people were talking about it and forcing the issue over an extended period of time. So, yes, people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. We're all frustrated with the way things turned out. Let's hopefully, I still hold out hope that America will wake up before it's time and realize that Biden will not beat Trump, and that'll be the thing that they're more concerned about than stopping us from having Medicare for all. Because that's really what Bernie wants to get done first, I believe. As someone without health insurance, yeah, Bernie, let's just try to get that done first. But look, here's the thing, guys. There's no real magic great. Like, what answer are we really looking for Bernie to give here? Once again, how high is the bar got to be set? Do you realize the level of ass kissery that is going on about Biden right now amongst anybody associated with the Democratic Party? Have you heard anyone not say Biden is the man? He is the bomb. Instead, Bernie talked about trying to push him to the left, trying to force him to adopt these ideas, trying to get him to see and that, yes, he's won him over with some of these ideas. Yes, Biden's warmed up to a $15 minimum wage. Yes, he wasn't there. He was at 12. He's moving towards doing something more about climate change. No, I can't name anybody else of any prominence that's not totally giving Joe Biden a lap dance right now in the Democratic Party. I'm just saying. And once again, is what we keep doing is the person that's closest to what we want, we destroy him because he's not everything we want him to be. That's what I keep seeing. And in this, I don't know, like, what you expected him to say. But of course, we got to beat him up because he didn't say Biden should rot in hell. So instead of, if he didn't say that, that's not enough for some people because we all know that's what they would have said. So, yeah, I'm sure that's what you would have said, Johnson. He pointed out that he was disappointed, that he was disappointed that he didn't win. Thank you, because some people think you didn't run to win. Some people say that you weren't running, you never intended to run to win, that you literally almost died on the campaign trail because there was nothing else to do. You just did that for fun. So I'm glad you pushed that out there. You forced that out there into the conversation because, not that they'll believe you. They'll just say you're lying when you said you were trying to win. And it should disappoint you, disappointed that you were, unable to secure the nomination. Not that Biden has yet. He has not. He said, I suspended my campaign. I didn't suspend the movement. He can't suspend the movement because the movement is bigger than him. The movement is not Bernie Sanders. He was a leader in the movement. We have other leaders in the movement. Nina Turner is a leader in the movement. It's what it is. There are others who are leading the movement. I'm going to hopefully interview with Killer Mike. I think Killer Mike is a leader of the movement. Dr. Cornel West, who I interviewed recently, leader of the movement. There are a lot of leaders of the movement. Dr. Dooley, leader of the movement. Susan Sarandon, a leader of the movement. Michael Moore, a leader of the movement. May not be everything. Mr. Kuzak, leader of the movement. So there are a lot of leaders in the movement. Bernie, then he says it. He says his chances are very, very slim that he'd run for president again. Very, very slim. I think you'll see another progressive step up. Hopefully it'll be Senator Nina Turner. But there you go. You got what you wanted. Now he's out the way. He's out the way. The sheepdog is out the way. So now let's make way for your candidate to do it. For your candidate to excite millions and millions of people, to set records, raising money, grassroots money. That's what, because now Bernie's not running, so I know in 2024, I'm going to see your person. And God willing, I'll still be here. And I want to see your candidate, who you keep saying is so much better because Bernie's garbage, that's going to do what he could not do. That somehow the system was, it wasn't the system, it wasn't the corruption. And there's something else that I think David Melford, someone on Facebook posted this. Whoever did it, please comment in the comment section. There was a post about all of the money that was raised to stop Bernie Sanders that no one ever talks about. I'm glad Bernie brought it up. He said there were ads that were run millions and millions of dollars of negative ads painting Bernie Sanders as unelectable. No one talks about it. Right around the time of New Hampshire, after Bernie won New Hampshire, after he tied technically with Buttigieg, and then won New Hampshire, and then was about to win Nevada, millions of dollars came in from this organization. And that organization started putting together these ads in South Carolina and in Super Tuesday states that pegged Bernie Sanders as unelectable. There's a lot of these ads they ran. Millions of dollars was poured into this effort by these billionaires and millionaires to stop Bernie Sanders. There's an organization, I forget the name of it, but if you follow me on Facebook, you probably saw my post about it, because I commented on how hardly anyone ever talks about it, if anyone ever discusses it. So there was a lot of money put into the notion that Bernie Sanders was unelectable, that he could not beat Donald Trump. That's what it was. So, once again, just something to consider. You know? Something to consider. Super PACs by billionaires to stop Bernie. That materialized around the time where we all know what happened. So, it was an interesting interview. Other things are discussed in that interview I think people should check out. If you get an opportunity to, you should watch it. It's on Washington Post Live on YouTube. Go check that out. I will put a link in the description box below so people can watch the whole thing. But interesting conversation. And it looks like, we got to keep the movement going. But, I'm just really excited to see others step up and raise these millions and millions of dollars, set records in the history of elections in this country. I want to see it. I want to see them galvanize Latinos, black folks, Native Americans, Asians, white folks, working class people across the spectrum. I really want to see this happen. I want to see it go down. Because all of and we're talking about people that call them friends, all of the scrutiny and all of the attacks from people who say they're on the left, I just want to see it. Because here's your time. Howie Hawkins is running on the Green Party. I want to see it. Howie and the Green Party, they're on the ballot. I want to see you all come out for them. I want to see this groundswell of support that I keep hearing about that Bernie didn't want. So we're at that point now where it's time to get up, put up, or shut up. So here we go. Let's see you do it. Put your candidate where your mouth was. Because hopefully if we're still here and Corona don't kill us all, we're going to live long enough to see your candidate do what Bernie couldn't do. Right? Right? All right.